On this episode, we'll discuss how churches can prioritize safety while staying inviting. Well, hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Church Leadership Lab podcast, the show that is dedicated to inspiring leaders and empowering healthy churches. I'm Kendall Connor, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jessica Moore. How are you today, Jess?
I'm good. Kendall, how are you?
I'm doing really well. You know, the fall weather is here. It's a little bit
hmm
cooler, but it's making
hmm
for a good time to cozy up and talk through some of these things today on a podcast, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I have like a chair in my room and a big like weighted blanket, and that's where I worked from yesterday because I didn't have a lot of meetings. That's not very often, so it's definitely cozy season.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Gotta bring the warmth. I love that. Today I'm excited to jump into our episode because I know it's
hmm
going to be super valuable for churches, for ministry leaders. And I will say this is a topic that maybe is not always at the top of mind for these ministry leaders,
hmm
but it's definitely an important one. We're going to get to talk through safety, talk through security, all the ways of keeping your congregation out of harm's way, really making sure that our churches are safe spaces. Again,
mm
not something that's always at the top of mind, but I feel like this is such an important discussion these
Yeah,
days, right?
absolutely. I feel like just anytime you've got a large group of people together, it definitely should be something that you're thinking through. So
Yeah,
churches obviously are that.
for sure.
And to your point, it's easy to just assume that everything will be fine. So good
Yeah.
topic.
I'm excited to talk to her. We've got somebody who is an expert in this that's going to get to talk with us today. A great guest. We're going to be joined today by Preston Hocker from Lead Security, and I'm thrilled to talk through this because a partner of his that we had on the podcast not too long ago is Josh Denhard. If you go back, and that was an amazing episode just
Mm,
a couple of weeks ago that we had him on show. But he's connected with Josh, and he came as a Preston came highly recommended coming into this conversation today. And so I know this is going to be a great one. Let me tell you a little bit about Preston if you've never connected with him or Lead Security before. So Preston, he served as a pastor for over 20 years, and I love this connection to me. He's in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So I grew up in Virginia, and Virginia Beach was our go-to beach. So he already has a lot of points with me coming into this. Alongside his ministry work, he is also, catch this, Jess, he is a private investigator, an armed security officer, and also a personal protection specialist, which I feel like just saying that, I mean, that was, this guy is
cool.
legit, right? He's been
Cool.
featured in all kind of magazines. He's been, he's just an expert in this kind of thing. But he lives with his wife, Lindsay, there in Virginia Beach, and they're proud parents to an amazing daughter. And he also, through his work with Lead Security, he's able to bring together kind of these two passions that he has. He's got a passion for
Mm,
ministry, but he also has a passion and his expertise for security. And so he's able to help churches stay safe, combining these. All this experience as he has, but also a heart for the local church. Isn't that a pretty cool bio?
that's awesome. Yeah, and that's like best case scenario, right? When you have a gift and you have a passion and then you can use that for the Lord, that's like jackpot right there.
I
That's
love that.
awesome.
So today we're going to talk all about how we can prioritize that safety while also you still want to have an inviting, welcoming place at your church. And so I'm excited. I want to remind all of our listeners today at home, be sure to hit that follow button if you have not already. Wherever you're enjoying our show from today, whatever platform, we want to make sure that you stay in the loop as we continue to release these conversations. And really, we just want to give you these valuable resources to help you right there in your church. We want to make sure that you don't miss a thing. Before we do jump in, Jess, I do want to give a little bit of a heads up. You know, today can be a little
Mm,
bit of a sensitive topic, and I just want to make sure that while I do think that we're going to take this from a proactive and hopeful approach, I do, with so much happening in the world these days,
hmm
any conversation about church safety can bring up a lot of emotion and concern. I just want all of our listeners to be aware of that with this today's topic today, and I
hmm
also want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. Uh, I am not a security expert. Jess is not a security expert. Neither is this podcast or Ministry Brands. And so all of the content that we share today is just purely for informational, educational
hmm
purposes. It is not intended to replace any professional training or legal guidance or any kind of consultation that you would have with law enforcement. Like we believe that safety and security, they're vital parts of a healthy church, and creating safe
Mhm.
spaces where people can worship, is such a big deal. But our goal for this conversation for today is simply to connect you with trusted professionals, and also, like our guest that we're going to have today, and just kind of spark a conversation. So
Mhm.
every church is different, right, Jess? So we encourage, definitely seek guidance from the people who are qualified to talk through these decisions to help you make all of those things in your church. So I'm glad
Absolutely.
that we get to talk to someone who's knowledgeable about this today, because, Jess, that you and I are not those people, right?
Nope. Nope. No, this will be a good reminder.
This is going to be good. So without further ado, I want to jump in. Let's welcome Preston Hocker. How are you today, Preston?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing well. Doing well, yeah. Um, I agree with you, Jess. I'm happy that fall is here. As soon as fall hits, I've got a little bit of a tough exterior, but man, when but when fall hits, I love a pumpkin chai tea,
Oh, boy.
sitting by
I
sitting
love it.
by my fireplace. That's
That's great.
my space.
I say
Yeah,
bring on all the pumpkin.
Yeah, all of it, all
yeah,
of it.
I'm definitely in the minority here. I love fall for, like, 2 reasons,
Okay,
Thanksgiving and my birthday,
okay.
and then otherwise, we could just fast forward through I mean, I like the beginning of fall, but then winter in Oklahoma is just, like, boring. Like,
Is
we
it?
don't get snow, it's just everything's dead, and then,
Yeah.
so I'm a summer girl through and through, but that's okay. I've mourned it at this point, so I'm ready to, like, enter into the season and then back to summer.
I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot about you, Jess, through this podcast today. This
I know
episode
that's
is
probably unpopular opinion. I realize that, but
Preston and I.
that's
We're
okay.
going we're going to lean into all the pumpkin. We're going to lean into all the what'd you say,
Mhm.
pumpkin chai. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, Preston, I'm excited to have you on the show to talk with us today. We read the public bio and it was super impressive. I mean, so many things that are all in that little paragraph there. But man, you've done so much. What's something that's not in that public bio that maybe all your family and friends would know about you that you could share with us today?
I don't know, I just love to laugh. I love to laugh, I love to have a good time.
Yeah.
And Jess, you're talking about wanting to fast forward to beaches, and
yeah. Mhm.
Kendall, you're from North Carolina, so, one of my favorite, memories with my that I'm building currently with my family, with my wife and daughter, is actually in the Outer Banks. Love
Oh,
going
Mm,
yeah.
down to Corolla. I've got a truck with four-wheel drive, so we do Corolla at least once a month during the
Amazing.
summer, and that's like our getaway. We're a big fan of Sabbath, but
Yeah.
mhm.
Sabbath is sometimes difficult to do when you're at home.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm in ministry and I've got a couple businesses. And with that, if I am in my uh, zip code, area code, even
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to rest because people are pulling you and they need things. So
Yeah.
we make a point to throw all of our beach stuff in the back of the pickup truck, and during the summer, it just stays there. It never makes it back to
Mm,
the garage. It just stays there because if we've got a moment, we've got a day, we just throw some food in a cooler. We head out to Corolla and we're just there reading books, flying
Wow.
kites, and seeing what else we can do.
I love that.
magical.
And that just
See, this
makes
is
me
why
want to
summer's the best.
it just makes me want to, go ahead and plan that beach trip now. Of course, Outer Banks. Anyone from anywhere near North Carolina, that's such an amazing place to go. So I love
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
Well, I know that you have served in ministry. Tell us a little bit about your journey, and also I'd love to hear some about how you got a passion for the security side, the safety side of
sure.
this, but also like how do these two worlds come together for you, and started brought together to start Lead Security.
Well, there's a lot of layers to it. I'm actually a fourth generation pastor. So
Wow,
my dad, my grandfather, well, my I've got uncles that are also in ministry, but then my grandfather and my great grandfather, who I was named after, they're all pastors. So it's a long generational. I
amazing.
don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but we're in it, and so it's been good, overall. I joke about it being a blessing or a curse, but I've been in full-time ministry for just over 21 years.
Amazing.
I've
Mm,
done everything from youth ministry to cleaning toilets,
mm.
Sure.
But then I've got this other side, and which is the security side. That got started. Really, the long road to security started when I was 22. I had been married for just about 2 years. I got married super young. Me and my wife, we've been together. We just celebrated our 21st anniversary,
Wow,
October 16th.
congratulations. That's amazing.
And,
Mm.
we had been married just over 2 years, and I was sitting in my in-laws' house, and on the news came this story of a girl who had been murdered, and,
Mm.
it
Mm.
was somebody that I went to middle school with, and
Oh,
Wow.
so
man.
that
That's the
story hit
story.
me really hard. Her
Yeah.
essentially, like, the short version of the story, she was with a boyfriend, and he became controlling, and she broke up with him. He found her in a parking lot, killed her, killed himself.
Oh,
Wow.
my
And,
goodness. Wow.
I grew up in the church, and I grew up believing, genuinely believing you're supposed to walk away from every fight. Like,
Mm.
Mm.
although I've always had this, like, protector thing, like, element inside of me,
Yeah.
I just felt like I had to suppress it for most of my life because I wasn't supposed to do that. And
Mhm.
Mm.
then Claire was murdered, and I found out, you can't walk away from every fight.
Mm.
Mm.
It's not a possibility.
Wow.
So, my life changed that day.
Mm.
Um, my I say, I got put on a different trajectory. It's like you see a train that's on one track, and then, like, the guy pulls the lever and it just
Right.
shifts it, and you
Yeah.
now are on a different track. And,
Wow.
I was still headed in the same general area,
Yeah.
same general direction, but I had a different track that I needed to get on. So I threw myself into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because everybody told me that was self-defense.
Wow.
Which this is
Wow.
like a this is a different conversation. Some people will disagree, but now that I've been in this industry for a while, Jiu-Jitsu is not self-defense. It's a great art. It's a great tool to have, but it's not. It's all by itself. Anyway, I started doing
Wow.
Jiu-Jitsu, and I did Muay Thai, and I picked up, traditional boxing and all these things. And then
Wow.
I needed to know if I could actually survive violence. So I started fighting in a cage. So I started
Oh,
competing in
my
mixed
goodness.
martial arts.
I wasn't
Um,
expecting that. Wow.
oh,
That's
you didn't know that
intense.
part.
No, I didn't know.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I'll actually send you some photos. One of the photos I'm sending you is from one of my more recent fights, but I
Wow.
took my first fight, honestly, not to see if I could win. I just wanted to
Mm.
see if I could survive violence because I'd never been punched in the face before. I'd never hit somebody back before. I'd
Wow.
never, like, been in a
Yeah.
violent situation, and, I wanted to know if the things that I was learning were actually applicable in real violence. So I took a fight that I probably should have never taken. The guy was, like, almost a head taller than me.
Wow.
He was massive. He was the one guy walking around without a shirt on, like, in a room full of athletes.
Oh gosh.
He's the guy that was, like, carved out of stone, and my dad, not knowing that, that was my opponent, my dad sees this guy and goes, "Gosh, I'd hate to be the guy that has to fight him."
Oops.
And I was like, "That would be
Wow.
me. Appreciate
Yeah.
it." So, I ended up fighting him. I lost a split decision. It was a close fight even though I was, like, so outmatched. I discovered that I had this thing in me, this competitive edge. I wrestled when I was
Mhm.
in middle
Yeah.
school and some in high school and stuff. So I had a base, but there was no, like, I didn't consider that violent.
Mhm.
Um, and so I found out that, I actually liked the competition. And so then I started competing to see if I could win, not just see if I could survive. And so I
Sure.
fought for a number of years. I actually had a Muay Thai fight just about a year ago. So I'm
Wow.
still
Still active
fairly
in the
active,
sport. Yeah.
but not
Wow.
nearly as active as I was, like, in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
But the way we got to security is I really got convicted, um,
Mm.
in that the whole purpose for me starting martial arts and learning how to fight was, to survive violence, and I just got this conviction that I needed to use that for something other than ticket sales. And
Mm.
Mm.
so I ended up meeting my now business partner, brother, Patrick Collis, at a youth group lock-in,
Wow.
which is so funny. So, like, an all-night party at the end of the school year. He's At the time, he's a teacher at a Christian school, and I'm a youth pastor. We
Yeah.
end up linking up. Um, we had a security issue at our church. He had just started his company. It was brand new. And so I had asked him if he could give me some advice or give me some resources.
Yeah.
And he literally he just sent a guy over to like watch over us for a day.
Hmm.
And then really one thing led to another. I ended up getting my PI license, my PPS, which is personal protection specialist license, which that's like a fancy term for like professional bodyguard,
Mhm.
because there's a lot more
Wow.
to the job than just like being willing to take a bullet for somebody. There's a
Right.
lot of prior planning. There's just
Wow.
so much that goes into it. You're not just like you might see a big guy
Yeah.
standing next to like a VIP,
Right.
but if it's done right, when it's done right, there's a lot of prior planning that goes
Sure.
into that job, days or weeks or even months leading up to that event. So, so I
Wow.
got involved in the company, ended up becoming a partner in the company. We started out of that, we started a nonprofit called Guardians, which offers these services to victims of violence at no charge to them. So we
Wow.
Wow.
we raise money so that we can offer these certain things. Specifically, what
Wow.
we do is we offer close personal protection to victims of violence on their day of court. So,
Wow.
case in point, like if a woman, she needs to be able to testify against her boyfriend or husband. In the state
Wow.
of Virginia, if the cops are called for a domestic disturbance like that, even if she doesn't want to press charges, the state takes over and the state presses charges on her behalf. But if she doesn't show
Wow.
up to court, there's no witness. A lot of times it gets dropped. So what we do is we give
Mm.
that victim some confidence, some courage. So we pick them up from their house, we escort them to court.
Wow.
Oftentimes we can get them in a victim's advocacy entrance, and then we sit with them. We make sure they have confidence. Nobody threatens her, nobody
Wow.
intimidates
Wow.
her. We sit with them through court and then we get them home. So that's like the kind of shorter version of that story. Could be a lot longer, but I think those are kind of like the Cliff Notes. So,
What a
um,
practical way to be Jesus to someone. Like,
Wow.
that's right? That
mhm.
is really, really cool. That's
Well,
awesome.
thanks.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about, man, you got so much expertise with it. Tell me about lead security a bit. Tell me about how you kind of have made this applicable and you're able to help churches with it.
Well, I call myself the junk drawer of the church. If if there's a ministry that needs some leadership, that needs some support, it's probably going to fall in my lap. And our security really needed some help, and I
Mm.
happened to be a part owner of a security company, so it kind of made sense. So I hate to have to reinvent a wheel. So I was looking for a resource that would help
Mm,
churches or help specifically my church um, build an active security ministry. And I call it a security ministry, not just a security team, because I think it is a ministry of the church.
mm,
And so I was looking, and really mostly what you find when you look up church security resource or anything, it's active shooter. And that is such
Mm.
a small piece to the puzzle of what
sure.
church security is. And I just couldn't find anything that really encompassed church security as a whole. So I knew I wanted to put something together. I had met Josh at the Children's Pastors Conference in Orlando because I was doing kids ministry, overseeing kids ministry, all that. And I'd met him. I loved his lead volunteers
Yes.
Mhm.
um, curriculum. One of probably the best resource I've ever purchased for ministry. Period.
Wow.
It is an absolute game changer. It's like hiring another person. It works
Wow.
so well, and I
Wow.
still use it. Still use it. I teach it at my church.
Yeah,
But I
he's
met
he's
him.
great. His content's great, and he was great. A great guest on the podcast for
Yeah,
sure.
he's great. So I met him. We got to talking, and I mean, I'm the security guy, but he's like more the tech guy. And anything that you
Sure.
see here, is because Josh kind of walked me through how to set it up. so,
Everybody
so
needs a
we,
friend like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
so we talked through it. We worked really hard, and then we built this online resource. We got like 64 videos. Don't quote me on that. I believe it's 64 training videos, over 100 downloads. I sometimes go into like my files to like print something out, and
Yeah.
I forget how many resources we
Wow.
created to help churches.
That's awesome.
So I'm really proud of it. It's super comprehensive. Helps you build if you
Yeah.
have no team, helps you build a team. If you have a team that needs help, it helps you there. If you need, just anything that you need, it really is beneficial.
That's really cool to hear, Preston. I'm just kind of curious. Like we have ministry leaders from various roles that are listening to this today. Is safety something that you would say that all church leaders need to be prioritizing?
Absolutely, from the top down, everybody. Um, at my church, I've got a security team or a safety team, but everybody has to be a part of the team. It has to be
Yeah.
across
Yeah.
the board. That doesn't mean that, Sister Susie is going to be stepping in front of somebody that's potentially trying to abduct a child. But
Mhm.
it means that everybody has the ability to be aware. Everybody has the
Yes.
ability to know what our safety protocols are. If
Yeah.
Yes.
let's say there's a fire, it's not always, it's actually very rarely an active violent threat. Let's say
Yeah.
Mhm.
there's a potential fire and we've got to get people out.
Yeah.
You know, just, just the body knowing
Yes.
what our protocol is and how we are going to respond, and that their children have
Yes.
an evacuation point that they're going to, and that we have a policy for how you can check your kids out in case of that kind of emergency.
Yes.
Everybody has to be a part of that. Everybody, I think one of the hardest things in the church is getting people to be. I know I've talked about situational awareness already a couple times. I've mentioned it, but just getting people to be aware of what's going on, and then
Yes.
this is the hard part, is getting people to say something.
Hmm.
Mm.
I think in the church, we work really hard to not be judgmental, because I think in our culture, there's a certain community of believers that have kind of been identified as judgmental. So
Mm.
because we don't want to be judgmental, we see something that just doesn't set well inside of us, but because we're afraid to be judgmental, we don't say anything, and then that's when things get dangerous. That's when people
Interesting.
um,
Yeah. Wow.
get victimized, especially kids. Get victimized because nobody's saying anything.
Well, you
Mm.
brought up a couple of great points, and I want to call them out. Having
Okay.
those guidelines, having those things that are established, those protocols, having all of those things established, are something that I feel like is valuable for every single church, because you need to know what to do in this situation, what to do in that
Mhm.
situation. Having guardrails in place
Mhm.
can bring so much comfort. You think like, oh, we don't want to have a lot of rules, we don't want to have all of this, but I'm telling you,
I hear that.
those guardrails can make can bring kind of that comfort, because the things are going to be that are planned or thought out. And I want to also think about it. You mentioned that it's beyond just immediate um, security and kind of threats in that way, but it's also, there's so much bigger than that. You do want to make sure that your church is a safe place, that your kids ministry has like a great check-in system, right? That you are
Mhm.
Yep.
background checking those volunteers. Like that's such like a high priority, and like you think like, oh, do we really need to do this? I've heard that argument before, like, do we
Yep.
really need this? But yeah, we want to make sure that we are going about this the right way to set our ministry up for success, and talk about it being more than just than just a security aspect. A personal story that I have, not that long ago in my own family. I have a distant family member who is an elderly gentleman, and on a Sunday morning during a worship service, he had a medical need on a Sunday morning during service.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
to this church's credit, where he goes, they were prepared. They knew exactly what to do. They were able to get him the help that they needed, all in the middle of a Sunday morning worship service. And for all of our church leaders that are out there listening to this, you can
Mhm.
think about how challenging that would be in that moment. And so it is thinking about these things from beginning to end,
Yeah.
um, to help your church not only be an inviting and welcoming place, but also be a safe place.
We had, just this past year, we had a month where we had to call 911 every
Oh
Sunday.
my goodness.
Every
Wow.
Sunday. It was if it wasn't one thing, it was another, but we did have a lady in the back of our sanctuary who normally would be very engaged and she would be very engaged in worship and in the word.
Mm.
And one of our ushers, who we invite, our what we call our hugs team, our hospitality ushers, greeters, and security,
So
we
cute.
we invite all
Like
of
that.
them to our security training. So
Mm.
if we're doing Code Adam and we're teaching people how to respond to a missing child, everybody gets an invite. Everybody doesn't have to come, but
Right.
most people do because they love to be a part of the training.
Mm.
But we
Wow.
invite them to learn about situational awareness, which isn't always about an active shooter. Sometimes
Right.
it's just recognizing, hey, that lady normally would be engaged, and right now she is passed out. And that's what happened.
Mm.
This lady had
Mm.
passed out and toward the back of our sanctuary, and it
Wow.
wasn't normal, and somebody
Yeah.
recognized it, and we were able to get her help. She had had a stroke
Wow.
mid-service,
Mm.
and 2, just I mean, I hate to, like, pat my own team on the back, but they were able to do all of this without causing a disturbance. My
Yeah.
guys
Mm.
know how to make a line. If you're not active on the medical emergency, we basically create a wall. We put our
Mhm.
back to the
Mhm.
especially when we've got a woman, because if it was a heart attack and we've gotta cut her shirt open,
Sure.
we've
Sure.
gotta, get on the AED, that we wanna protect her modesty, so, like,
Mhm.
Sure.
Mhm.
we our guys created a wall. Nobody knew that we even had a medical emergency in our sanctuary
Mm.
Wow.
until my dad, who was the lead pastor, ended up saying, "We've got some EMTs that are about to come in. Let's go ahead and pray." And we were able to pray for her, get her out, and like her
Wow.
life was saved. So like
Mhm.
Mm.
I often say, and this kind of like rubs some people the wrong way, but it's true. If you are proficient with a firearm, but you're not proficient with an AED, you aren't actually secure. You're feigning security.
Wow.
All
Wow.
you're doing is you're making yourself feel good because you've got a 9mm on your hip, but the fact is there are a lot more heart attacks that happen
Mm.
every day in the United States than there are active shooters. So if you really want to make a safe place for your church, you're gonna
Wow.
learn how to you're going to get proficient in CPR, and you're going to know how to use your AED. You're going to learn how to stop bleeding, because you know what?
Wow.
Kids run around in your kids' ministry, and some kid might go forehead first into a
Yeah.
water fountain. And that 9 mil on your hip isn't going to help you stop bleeding. So
Yeah.
if you really
So
want to help
true.
your church, you can't just think about active shooter. You've got to think about all of these other aspects as well.
Mm. I
Wow.
this question isn't on our list, but I am curious. How do you incorporate this? I mean, or maybe in some way we will be asking you this, but how do you incorporate this into your church culture without it feeling like you're living in fear, right? So
Mm.
I think it's
It's
good to
good.
have all of this, and right, you're
Mhm.
equipping. You called out specific teams, um, but I think it would be a little bit more difficult to invite, like you said, the entire church body or the whole congregation into understanding what these protocols are. Like, I mean, I guess you could put them on your website, or like,
Mhm.
how do you do that?
So, in in combat sports, um, my experience is I am the most nervous when I'm the least prepared.
Mm,
The more prepared I am, the less paranoid I am.
mhm.
So the more training we do with our teams, the less paranoid any of our people are.
Yeah.
So we train our teams. At the very least, we train our teams once every other month, and
Okay.
that's just regular training. I
Hmm.
would love to do it more, but because of the culture of our church, because people are just active, we know we can only do so much. So instead of planning a bunch of trainings that we end up having to cancel, we have to end up having to postpone, we do regular trainings every other month. Sometimes we can sneak a couple extra in, or sometimes we'll do things like this where we're doing training over like a Zoom meeting. But for
Right.
the most part, we do every other month in-person training. So that helps people feel good. Another thing that we do is, instead of having church-wide everybody at our Code Adam trainings, that just doesn't work. So what we do is
Mm,
once a year, we do a church-wide security brief. And
okay.
we're able to tell the church, these are the things that we do. If we have if we have any evacuation, this is where you're going to be able to meet your kids. This is what's going to be the process to get your kids,
Wow.
because hey, listen, we don't want to pass out kids. I know you mentioned like checking in kids and background checks. I think one of the big misses when it comes to children and safety is checking kids out. Everybody, like my team knows, if my mother comes to get my kid and she doesn't have a ticket, You need to ID her. I don't care if you've
Mm,
known her for 15 years. Make sure she pulls out an ID. That's just our
Wow.
policy. You gotta write
Wow.
policy and you gotta stick to the policy. But
it's good.
so to answer your question, to combat paranoia, to combat fear, the way we do that is prepare. The more prepared your
Mhm,
people are, the less afraid they are. They know that you
mm,
have an answer to a problem. They're not going to be afraid of the problem.
that's great. Do you have it documented anywhere that people can access if they need to?
We have most of our policies in our security office.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, cool.
mhm,
Thanks.
Well, yeah, it's important to I feel like that communication and just letting your people know because if you it's like you want your people to be well informed about
Mhm,
what's happening, right? It shouldn't
mhm,
be a surprise to them. And honestly, I think it would if you want to be able to bring that comfort to all of your people, letting them know all of the hard work that your church is doing to ensure their safety, I feel like is such a big part. And I'm kind of curious, Preston, like a lot of churches they hesitate to start something like this because maybe they feel unequipped. And I'm just
mhm.
curious, what
mm.
would you say to that pastor or that staff member who's thinking, oh, like we just don't have what we need, like are there or you feel like it's easy this is something that's easy to get started?
Yeah, I think sometimes people just feel like there's so much to do, so they don't do anything.
Mhm.
Mm,
But I'm sure you've heard, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time,
Right, right.
mhm,
and that's kind of the goal is to be 1% better tomorrow.
Yes.
mhm,
Don't be 50% better. Be 1% better.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in a maybe you're in a small church, right? And
Yeah.
you don't have the capability to have the tablets to do your check-in. You don't have the capability to have cameras right now. But what you can do is like instead of tablets, instead of saying like, well, we can't do check-in because we don't have the money for it, go bare necessities. Go back to a clipboard. Get people to sign their kids and use raffle tickets.
mm,
That is a randomized number that you can tape to the back of a kid
Right, right.
and give the other one to the parent. There are answers. It
mm,
might not
yeah,
be the best answer. I think one
You
of
say, what
the
I'm hearing is there's no excuse. Like you got to do
there's no
something.
excuse.
Yeah.
Do something. I think the biggest enemy of doing something good is when we try to do something perfect.
Mm,
We trade doing something good for doing something not for doing nothing because we really want to do the best thing. Don't do
yeah.
the
yeah,
best thing, just do a good thing. And then
yeah,
if you find out that's good and then you find a better way to do it, go from good to better and then eventually maybe you'll land on best. But man,
mhm,
listen, I'm not a part of a huge church. I'm a part of a pretty middle-sized church. We
Yeah.
don't have a mega church budget. Even at my church with all of my knowledge, all of my resources, there are still things that I see that we could do so much better.
Yeah.
So,
mhm,
even at my church, we're just constantly trying to get better every month, every other month, we're adding new things. We actually just ordered some new radios. We're not super happy with the ones that we have. They work, they're good, but they're not the best. So
Sure.
we were able now to order some new radios. We just ordered some new radios so that we can stay in contact with each other a lot more clearly. They also double as body cams, so that's kind of nice as well.
Well, and it's the simple things like that that I feel like go so far. And you bring up a good point. You may not always have the best solution, but I literally just told our guest experience team this past Sunday at our church. I was like, listen, we have to have this value of excellence. Excellence
Hmm.
is doing the best that you can with what God
Hmm.
has given you. So yeah, it may not be you may not have everything on your wish list of things that you want to have in this role, but yeah, you gotta use, the things that you do have to the best of your ability.
Hmm.
We talk about the technology and things like that, and, we've mentioned check-in and all of those things, but I'm just kinda curious, I mean, what, what would you recommend for churches, to have, to make their kids ministry, to make their general congregation a safer place when it comes to technology?
A lot of people do like exterior surveillance cameras first. Um, I highly recommend doing interior surveillance cameras first. Exterior will protect your property, but interior protects your people. Your
Mm,
people are more important than your property.
sure.
Specifically, your little people are more important than your
Yeah.
property. So, um, even if you can't outfit your whole your whole building, your whole campus, don't worry about the sanctuary. Those are adults. And most of them have cell phones. They can turn that into a camera pretty quick.
Yeah.
Put cameras in your nursery. You got to put cameras in your little kids' rooms. Put
Yeah.
cameras in your youth rooms. If you can only do a couple cameras, focus on your most vulnerable people first.
Sure. That makes
And
sense.
those things don't just protect your kids, they're going to protect your volunteers, your teachers as well.
Yes.
Because what if a kid says something that wasn't exactly true? You need to be able to
Mm,
go back and look at the footage to say, okay, well, they said that you
right.
hit them. Let's go see what actually happened.
Sure.
So it's to
Yeah.
protect everybody.
It's a good point. So you mentioned the cameras or anything
Mhm.
else. What when you've seen check in do well, and just I know you're so knowledgeable in this. What does that look like for a church? What should that look like from start to finish?
Are you asking me? So should that look like? Yeah. So um, have it depends on your church. It depends on your size.
Sure.
Right. So not every church needs 2 or 3 volunteers. You might only need 1 depending on your size. But having an adult present at check-in for the duration of service, being able to help that procedure. For one, I know sometimes it's easier to get like a middle school or high school kid to do it. And they might do it just fine, but having an adult presence there does a couple of things. One, it's gonna make parents as a dad, it makes me feel better
Mm,
to bring my child to an adult than to a middle schooler. But
Mhm.
also what is you're able to do if you can train your volunteer to look out for certain signs of, say, abuse or neglect, things that you might need to look out for the kid that is showing up on your Sunday morning.
wow.
So it's kind of a double edge, you know,
Yeah.
for making parents feel good, but also protecting kids that are coming into your space.
Yeah, agree with that big time. Having eyes to see those types of things
Mhm,
is potentially something that saves a kid's life. That's
mhm,
a good call out.
Well, and I mean, all of this, it's I feel like having a proactive approach to this is the thing that gives me hope, right? Is that if you're doing everything that you can as a ministry to put these things in place, I feel like is gives you that reassurance and also gives confidence to your parents. It gives confidence to the folks that
Mm.
are coming and attending on Sunday mornings. I feel like that's big. Preston, I'm curious. I mean, is there any encouragement that you could offer to leaders today who maybe just feel overwhelmed hearing through listening to this topic and they want to make things better? What encouragement would you give them?
really simple, you can do it. Yeah, I think and I love the word encouragement. Encouragement
Yeah.
is probably my favorite, spiritual gift.
Mm,
Like, a lot of people like to be pastors and preachers or teachers, whatever. I think being an encourager
wow.
is probably the most important one of them all. And, and just being able to tell you, "You can do it." You might feel like you can't, but that's just an emotion. Emotions don't get to dictate what we actually do.
Mhm.
Mm,
There's a really good chance that the enemy is the one that's telling you you can't do it
wow.
because the enemy would love for your congregation to feel stuck. He would love for your congregation to be insecure, to be in danger. Because the moment that you decide, hey, I can do this, even if it's not perfect tomorrow, the very real truth is kids become safer. Your
Mhm.
Yeah.
congregation becomes safer.
Mm,
And a safe community is a welcoming community. It's an
Mhm.
inviting community. I wanna go places where I feel safe. I wanna
mm,
go
Mhm.
places especially where my daughter is gonna be safe.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you can do it. You don't have to do it tomorrow. You don't have to do it all tomorrow, but you can start taking steps to creating a safer environment this weekend. You can do things, and there's all kinds of videos on my YouTube channel free for you to watch so that you
Wow.
can start this process tomorrow.
Wow. No,
Love
that
it.
that is encouraging. And I love, and that's kind of been our theme for today is yes, we want to have a safe place. We want to have a secure place, but we also want it to be inviting. It still want it to be
hmm
welcoming. And I'm just kind of curious, can you speak to that at all? You did mention that a safe place is a welcoming place. Can you
hmm
expand on that?
Sure. I think some people think you have to have one or the other. I think some people are afraid to create a secure church because they're afraid if it's secure, then it can't be welcoming. And I think some people go way too far into a secure church and they create their church or they give their church this like prison identity.
Mm.
There are churches when you pull into the parking lot, it's so embarrassing. But as somebody in the industry, it's so embarrassing because there are churches you go to and they've got guys with rifles on their chest. They're in
Oh my
full kits.
goodness. Wow.
It's embarrassing. It's just like that to me is doesn't feel safe. And it's not because I don't feel safe around firearms, because I do. But my thought when I pull into a church like that, I'm like, why do they need
Yeah.
multiple guys with full kits, like looking like they're going into Fallujah? Like they
Yeah.
don't, this isn't 2004 in the Middle East. It's Minnesota. Why are we here?
Wow.
What are we
Wow.
doing? So I think that creates an unwelcoming, uninviting atmosphere. At my church, we have one guy who is open carrying. He's armed,
Mhm.
but he's also licensed through my company. We have that for a reason. I actually had to remove a person a couple years ago, and it took the police more than 45 minutes to get to our property, and it was a potential active
Goodness.
shooter, and I had to move him.
Goodness.
And so we were like, "Oh, we're going to start hiring somebody to come here." But still, those guys um, are incredible. Their
Mm,
hospitality is through the roof. Like
mm.
Easter comes and we've got a guy who's in uniform and he's passing out candy to kids on their way in the door. I think there's a way to do it
Yeah, that's good.
that is
Yeah.
that provides security, but it also incites smiles. I think
Mhm.
most of the time your security team ought to be like, what do they call it? An enhanced greeter. It's somebody that's greeting people at the door, but also has this like kind of hidden set of skills where they know CPR, they know how to stop bleeding, they know how to engage somebody that could be a potential threat. They have
Mm,
all of these other skills that are
Wow.
just kind of tucked away under their shirt that they don't need to broadcast to everybody that
sure.
shows up.
Wow.
So I think there's a way to balance it, and that's what we do. That's what we teach on the YouTube channel. That's what we teach at Elite Security, our online resource as well.
Wow. That's really good. I'm kind of curious, Preston, like, how does it make you feel when you see the churches who are doing this right? I mean, like when
Oh
you
man,
see
I
the,
love it.
yeah,
I love it. It makes me come alive because security is a passion of mine.
Mhm.
Like I actually just love people who are passionate about stuff. I really don't even care what it is. I can talk to anybody that has passion. Like if you're
yeah,
passionate about crocheting, I will sit down. I have no desire to learn, but I will sit down and listen to you talk about crocheting because I love it when people are passionate about it. But security is a passion of mine. So when
yeah,
I travel to another church and they're doing things right, man, it just makes me feel good.
yeah,
And it's not necessarily because I did anything. It's just that because maybe they're not even connected with me at all. I'm just going to a friend's church. I'm like, man, that feels good.
yeah.
Um,
Mm,
it just yeah.
That's great. One of the big themes of our podcast is healthy churches and healthy leaders. And I'm just kind of curious
Mhm.
from your unique perspective and your opinion, what would you say is an essential component of a healthy church?
I think the mark there's a few things. A mark of a healthy church is actually like um a broad age demographic.
Mm,
So like
ooh, love that
not
one.
just like an old church, not just a young church. You need people from all ages, all walks of life. Um, I think another one would be churches that are productive,
mm,
that are doing things, not just busy,
Mm,
um,
it's good.
that are actually producing things. Because there are churches that have a lot of things on the calendar, but those things on the calendar aren't actually
wow.
producing disciples or producing new believers or
Wow.
you know producing new worship. Any of those
Yeah,
kinds of things. I think those are probably off the top of my head
Yeah.
two of the
No,
those are
main ones.
great.
that's great. Well, Preston, one of the things that we like to do is we kind of wrap up our episodes is to do a final five, kind of a rapid fire round of questions.
Love
Are,
it.
are you open to that today?
I love it. Yeah.
All right. He's ready for the challenge, Jess.
Okay, here we go. What is one book on this subject or similar that you would recommend to church leaders?
I've got like 5 books that I recommend on this.
Oh, we said rapid fire. How rapidly can you say them?
I'll give you two. How about two?
Okay,
Top two.
Let's do Left of Bang by Patrick Van Horn.
Okay.
And Never Split the Difference by, his name just slipped my mind. Never Split the
I
Difference.
think I've seen that one. Yeah. Oh, awesome.
We'll drop those in show notes.
I just lost
sure.
the author's name.
We won't tell him. It's okay.
I used to get punched in the head for fun, so I.
Evidently, you still do. So, okay. Last thing you listen to on Spotify or Apple Music? Don't lie.
Worship music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I actually work out in the morning, so I worked out before I came for this interview. And when I work out, I listen to worship music.
Very cool.
It's just
I listen to reggaeton.
Gotta get that.
So that's not
I needed
completely.
to be
hype workout.
I needed to be chill. I needed to be like calm.
Yeah, that's good.
So
it's a good one. Okay, favorite piece of technology or software right now?
So this one might freak some people out because it has to do with AI, but
we love AI around here. It's fine.
Plaud Note, Plaud Note.
Okay.
And I use it. It's so good for meetings, especially as a PI. Like what it is, it's like a little business. Well, it's like a credit card size, and you turn it on and it listens to your conversation. And then it breaks down in an outline. Even it can go so far as like at the opening of the conversation, I can say, I'm speaker number 1. My name is Preston, and everybody else like just says who they are. And the little card thing, the Plaud Note, can pick up different voices. It can transcribe the entire conversation.
Wow.
It can also break it down into an outline of what was said. It's so
Super
good.
helpful.
And I love it as a PI because a lot of times you're wanting to engage in the conversation, but I'm trying to take notes the entire time. So I feel like I'm missing things. So it really helps. And then it also, if you wanted to, because it's got an AI integrated, it can like give you some ideas for like follow-up meetings, all those kinds of things. You can get it on Amazon. I wish I had like a link.
That's
an
awesome.
affiliate link.
Yeah. Get sponsored. Okay. Quote or advice that has stuck with you over the years?
My dad, when I was a kid, he used to tell me, you can't complain about things you're not willing to fix. And
Wow.
I tell you, I was like in first grade when he told me that, and it's carried me through, I'm 41. It's carried me forever. He gave me a lot of really good advice. I'm a big fan of my dad. So
I'm going to put that on we have a letterboard. You guys know what those are?
Yeah.
They're very Pinteresty. Anyway, we have a letterboard, and I feel like I'm going to put that on the letterboard in the hallway of my kids' area upstairs. I love that. Okay, one thing you'd like to communicate to our audience of church leaders?
I kind of already said this, but just that you can do it.
Yeah.
That eat the elephant one bite at a time. Don't feel overwhelmed. If you need help, reach out to me. I am very reachable, and I am not. I don't put myself on a pedestal. I just want to help people.
Yeah.
If there's a question that you have, shoot me a message, throw it in a comment on a YouTube video, whatever it is. I really am looking forward to helping people.
Yeah, that's evident from this conversation.
Yeah, I can tell that for sure. Well, Preston, I know that people are going to want to hear more from you. They're going to want to find these resources. What's the best way for people to get connected with you?
Funny enough, as a PI, I'm actually very easy to find. So just Preston Hocker on Facebook, Preston Hocker, just PrestonHocker on Instagram. Lead Security or Lead Church Security on YouTube. I've got the Lead Security Instagram as well. All of those things, you can find me. If you want to find me, I'm pretty easy. Yeah.
And I'm sure, and we'll link up everything to your courses and your trainings and all those things. So we'll definitely link up all of those notes. Preston, thank you so much for having this conversation. It's been fascinating to hear your story. And, now I just feel like I need to go take like some boxing lessons or something after this.
Come through, man. You're not too far away. Come up to Virginia Beach.
There we go.
I got you.
Okay, fun fact about Jess. I wasn't going to say anything, but I literally trained in boxing for 3
Wow.
years.
No
Let's
kidding.
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
love it.
I mean, it was
now I
it
really
was
gotta do
definitely
this.
like my workout of choice, right? Because
Wow.
it's incredible cardio and my
Uh-huh.
brain is busier than if I'm running and I'm bored and I'm
Yep.
angry about running. So it's like my workout of choice, but it is so fun.
It
The
is
real
fun.
question, Jess, is have you considered being a part of the security team at your church at this point?
No, I probably should. I we
Security teams
sparred.
need girls.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Well,
go.
we
need
sparred a
women.
couple of times, but if you threw me in a ring, I would probably cry. So
This is
not that
I love that.
effective.
Oh, that's a fun fact for us today. I did
So
not
fun.
was not expecting that. That's awesome, Jess. Well, thank you so much, Preston. Thank you, Jess, for being
Thank
on here
you.
with us today. This has been a great conversation, very insightful, and I feel like I've learned a
Agreed.
lot. So, listeners, be sure to check out all those resources that we put in the show notes so you can find out more about that training. I think that is going to be so helpful in just getting started in this or even improving what your church has. And so definitely check out those resources. And if this episode has been useful to you today, if this has been something that has encouraged you to make your church a safer place, and I'd love if you would share it with a friend, maybe share it with a friend in ministry, share it to someone on your team, leave us a review. We'd love to hear your reviews on how we're doing. It helps us to keep going, it keeps us encouraged to keep making these resources to help you out. Again, hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're enjoying our show. But until next time, church leaders, keep leading well right there in your cities. And we'll see you right back here next week on Church Leadership Lab.
This episode of the Church Leadership Lab podcast is brought to you by Ministry Brands, the largest provider of church technology software. Over 90,000 churches rely on Ministry Brands for their single platform solution that brings together all the digital tools a church needs. From online giving to websites to church management software and more, Ministry Brands is leading the way in simple to use, innovative solutions, all with the goal of empowering healthy churches. To learn more, visit ministrybrands.com.